She is standing in front of her closet in 1957. 6 dresses, a skirt, 2 blouses. She is dressed and out the door in 11 minutes. She does not come back to change. You have 50, 60 pieces of clothing, and some mornings you still cannot find one thing to wear. That is not a failure of taste. That is not a failure of discipline. You were never taught what she was taught, because the women who knew stopped being asked, and what they knew was replaced very deliberately with something you could be sold instead. 13 rules, passed so quietly that by 1955 nobody had to teach them anymore. By the time her granddaughter needed them, they were already gone. Number 7 is something she did every Saturday morning that has since become a $47 billion industry. She did it for free. Number 1 is not a rule about clothes at all. It is the reason she never opened that closet feeling like something was wrong with her. Once you hear it, you will not be able to unhear it. This is that channel. Let's get into it. Before number 13, be honest in the comments. How long does it take you to get dressed in the morning? One number. I read every single reply. Number 13. She knew her measurements by heart. 36, 24, 36. Not a size, not a letter, numbers. In 1955, women's clothing had no standardized sizing system. A size 14 at Sears meant something different than a size 14 at any department store downtown. So she didn't shop by size. She shopped by measurement. When she ordered from the Sears Roebuck catalog, the form asked for bust, waist, and hip. When she bought a simplicity pattern, the envelope specified the same 3 numbers. The pattern was cut for her body, not for a demographic. She could walk into a shop, look at a garment on the rail, and know in 10 seconds whether it was worth trying on. No guessing, no hoping, no buying something that almost fit and telling herself she'd figure it out at home. Vanity sizing began in the 1980s and accelerated through the 1990s. A size 12 in 1958 had a 32-inch waist. Today's size 12 is closer to 36 inches. The numbers stopped meaning anything, and the self-knowledge that came with knowing your numbers went with them. She knew who she was fitting. Number 12. The moment she walked in the door, she changed. The door closed. The good dress came off. It went on a hanger. She had what was called a house dress, a dedicated garment for being at home. Not loungewear, not leggings, a simple cotton dress worn only inside, never seen by anyone who had not been invited in. Simplicity and Butterick both had entire pattern categories labeled house dress. Sears sold them separately from street dresses. This was not about appearances. It was about protecting the investment. A wool skirt cost real money in 1955. Wearing it to cook, to clean, to garden, that is how a wool skirt becomes a rag in 2 years. One viewer wrote in the comments of our last video that her parents had designated home clothes, out and about clothes and special occasion and church clothes. 74 people agreed, not because it was a revelation, because they remembered. Lululemon opened in 1998. By 2015, athleisure was worth $44 billion. The house dress disappeared. The good clothes wore out faster. Nobody called it a problem because nobody remembered what the alternative had been. Number 11, one print. Everything else solid. She never put a floral blouse with a plaid skirt, one print per outfit. Everything else, including belt, shoes, bag, and jacket, is solid. The principle is one focal point, one place for the eye to go. A printed dress with solid accessories says, look at this dress. A printed dress with a printed bag and a patterned cardigan says, look at all this noise. Grace Kelly understood this instinctively. Her off-duty wardrobe was almost entirely solid colors. When she wore print, everything else disappeared. The outfit had one voice. It spoke clearly. The 1970s threw pattern at pattern deliberately. It was countercultural, a rejection of the 1950s. It was also, from a purely visual standpoint, chaos. The eye had nowhere to settle. She always gave the eye somewhere to go. Number 10 is where her small wardrobe became more powerful than a large one. Stay with me. Number 10. Her whole wardrobe was built around two neutral colors, navy and white, or black and camel, or gray and cream. She chose two neutrals and bought almost everything within that range. A navy skirt went with the white blouse, the cream blouse, the red blouse. A camel coat went over every dress she owned. Nothing in her wardrobe was an island. Today, this is called a capsule wardrobe. There are books, courses, consultants, entire Instagram accounts dedicated to teaching this as a system. She did not have a name for it. She just called it a wardrobe. Everyone around her had one. The fast fashion industry introduced seasonal color palettes from the 1970s onward. Each season brought a new shade that conveniently matched nothing from the previous season. Two wardrobes, neither complete, both requiring constant replenishment. She never had a trend. She had navy and white and everything worked. Number 9. Before buying anything, she asked one question. What 3 things do I already own that this goes with? If she could not answer immediately, she put it back. It was passed woman to woman, mother to daughter, friend to friend, in a dressing room in 1954. It is why women went shopping together. The friend was there to ask the question out loud when you were about to make a mistake. She could not afford impulse purchasing. In 1955, a good dress cost the equivalent of 2 to 3 days of wages. You bought something because you already knew exactly where it fit. The result, every piece in her wardrobe earned its place. Nothing sat waiting for an occasion that never arrived. The most expensive thing in most wardrobes today is the piece that never gets worn, bought in a moment of wanting, never connected to anything else. She would not have brought it home. She could not answer the question. She asked before she reached for her wallet, not after. Number 8. She knew which colors made her look alive. Nobody taught her the theory. There was no Color Me Beautiful. That book would not exist until 1983. What she had was 30 years of observation, passed from her mother and her mother's seamstress. Navy brought something forward. That particular yellow took from her. The dusty rose was hers. The coral was her sister's. She did not own colors that did not suit her, not because she was disciplined, but because she understood that wearing the wrong color was a kind of undoing. The best dress in the wrong shade looked like something borrowed from someone else's life. Elizabeth Taylor never wore yellow. She knew she was a jewel-tone woman, violet, emerald, deep red, and she stayed there. Look at any image of her from any decade. The same palette, the same woman. She was not following rules. She knew what she was. She knew. She bought only what was hers. Number 7. She set her hair once a week and barely touched it after. Saturday morning or Friday evening at the salon. Rollers, pin curls, a hood dryer if she had one. Dippity-Doo, first sold in 1965, though women had been setting with sugar water and beer long before that. Aquanet hairspray, available from 1955. At night, a hairnet to protect the set. The style lasted the week. She was not in the bathroom every morning with a round brush making the same decisions she had made the day before. The hair was planned in advance, like an outfit, decided once, maintained through the week. Lucille Ball's famous red hair required the same discipline off-screen. Grace Kelly had a standing weekly appointment. The electric blow dryer became common in the early 1970s. This was sold as freedom. What it introduced was a daily ritual requiring a round brush, heat protectant, serum, diffuser, and 20 minutes of decision-making every single morning. The industry that sold her the dryer also sold her every product the dryer required. She said it Saturday. She wore it all week. It looked the same on Friday. If there is a woman in your life who stands in front of her closet every morning feeling like nothing works, a daughter, a sister, a friend, hit the like button right now. 1 second. It gets this video in front of her. She needs this more than she knows. Then stay, because number 1 is the reason this channel exists. Number 6. Nothing went back in the closet broken. Look at your wardrobe right now and count the things hanging in it that need something. A button, a hem, a seam, a zipper that sticks. She had none. Her weekly schedule included mending, wash on Monday, iron on Tuesday, mend on Wednesday. A loose button found on Tuesday was fixed by Wednesday evening. A hem that came undone was back by Thursday. Nothing waited for a someday that never came. Home economics was taught in American schools through the 1960s. Girls learned to mend the way they learned to cook. When a dress represents 2 days of wages, you fix the button the same week. When the dress cost $11 on a Tuesday and can be replaced for the same price tomorrow, you leave the button. Then you buy another dress. Then you have 2 dresses and a loose button. She had no loose buttons. Number 5. Her lips and nails always matched, and Revlon had already made the decision for her. Charles Revson noticed that women were spending time in front of the mirror trying to match lipstick and nail polish made by different companies, with different names for the same shade. The result was never quite right. He eliminated the problem. Revlon began selling lipstick and nail polish in identical formulas as a matched pair. You bought one item, and the decision was made. Fire and Ice, 1952. A full-page advertisement in Harper's Bazaar asked, "Are you made for fire and ice?" The lipstick and the nail polish were the same deep red. You wore them together or you wore neither. Cherries in the snow, Persian melon, coral reef. Every shade had a name. Every name had a matched set. She did not think about whether her nails matched her lips. Revson had thought about it in 1945. She just bought the pair. The 1970s brought individual expression to beauty. Matching was declared a constraint. OPI now offers over 400 shades. The decision Revson made automatic in 1952 is now a full deliberation. She picked up the matched set. She put it on. She left. Number 4. She dressed for the woman she intended to be that day, not the woman who was tired, not the woman running late. Not the woman who would figure it out when she got there. Her mother had said it plainly. You decide who you are today, then you get dressed. Not the other way around, not standing in front of the closet hoping something hanging there will tell you. You decide first. The closet is execution. A woman who has decided she is the kind of person who arrives prepared, who takes herself seriously. That woman opens the closet and knows immediately what she is reaching for. The decision is already made. She decided first. Then she dressed. Number 3. She never bought for the woman she was trying to become. The dress that would fit after she lost 10 pounds. The suit for once she had somewhere to wear it. The blouse she would find something to match eventually. She did not own any of it. You dressed the body you had. You dressed the life you were living. When the body changed, you brought the clothes to the seamstress. A few dollars, 10 minutes of work. The dress fit again. She wore it again. She did not replace it with something bought for a body she was working toward. A garment bought for a future self hangs in the closet as evidence against the present one. Every time you open the door, it tells you that you are not yet enough. She did not keep that evidence. She bought for herself as she was and never stood in front of the closet feeling accused by her own clothes. She owned less than you own. She wore all of it. Number 2. She thought in complete costumes, not separate pieces. A viewer left a comment under our last video. 90 people agreed with it. One viewer wrote that her grandmother, born in 1906, called her outfits costumes. Usually a 2-piece, a dress and matching jacket, plus a necklace, cube heel shoes, and a structured handbag. With her outfit and hair done, it was enough. She did not mix and match. From a pool of interchangeable pieces, she thought in complete units. The navy dress was a costume. The navy dress, the white gloves, the black patent shoes, the cream handbag. The gray suit was a costume. The gray suit, the pearl brooch, the camel heels, the structured bag. Each combination was a single decision made once and committed to. She owned 6 costumes, not 60 pieces that approximately went together if you spent 20 minutes on a Tuesday morning figuring it out. The capsule wardrobe movement of the 2000s, like Project 333 and the 10-item wardrobe, had to be invented as a concept because the original practice had been dismantled. She did not need a name for it. She just got dressed. Number 1. She bought for the woman she was, and she knew exactly who that was. This is the rule that makes every other rule on this list work. She's standing in a shop in 1957. She's holding a dress on a hanger. She's not asking whether it is fashionable. She's asking one question: is this me? She already knows the answer because she knows her measurements, her colors, her silhouette, which neutrals anchor her wardrobe, and whether this works with 3 things she already owns. She bought for one woman, herself. She had spent 30 years learning exactly who that was. A woman who knows precisely what suits her buys very little, very deliberately. A woman who does not know is a market. Uncertainty is expensive. It was designed to be. The most costly items in most wardrobes today are the ones that never get worn, bought on a trend that did not belong to them, in a color that was not theirs, in a silhouette that never had a chance. She bought for one woman. Everything she owned, she wore. She walked into every room looking like a decision had been made, because one had. Not about the clothes, but about herself. The clothes were just evidence. That decision cost nothing. It required only knowing. She knew. She didn't have a stylist. She didn't have a clothing budget. She had 13 rules her mother gave her, which her mother's mother had given before that. She never thought to name them. Everyone around her was doing the same thing. 2 questions before you go. First, which of these rules did you recognize? Did your mother or your grandmother actually practice any of them? Second, which one are you trying this week? Write both answers in the comments. I read every single one. Subscribe if you haven't already. This channel is free. It will always be free. Hit the bell so the next video finds you. I will see you there.